Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, to the DIY Garage TX saga. So if you've been following along the past couple of videos, I've been working on the car, trying to get the mechanical aspect ironed out before I get started on the wiring, the Dominator upgrade. So if you think back a few videos ago, the intake manifold has been changed. And that kind of screwed up a lot of stuff, and I'll explain how the snowball has progressed, if you will. So check this out. No matter which way the intake manifold goes, this outlet or inlet points at these coils. And initially, I thought the fix was going to be just to relocate the coils, and that's not going to be a problem because we're doing all new wiring and we'll be able to put anything where we want it and all that kind of stuff. Well, the problem with that is that the spaces that I wanted to use to mount the coils are going to be occupied by either the starter or the split down pipe when that is on the car. And for some of the classes that I want to run, I have to have that exhaust on the car. So that kind of messed that all up. So to go back to the intake manifold, I'm going to show you what we're going to have to do to it. Okay, so with the intake, no matter which way it goes, it's going to point at the coils, whether it be this side or the other side of the engine. So I think the fix for this, and it really saddens me, but the fix is going to be to cut this right behind this flange and lay this flange back so it points more straight out this way, and that is going to allow me to just redo this pipe. I'm pointing at the breather. Redo this pipe over here, which will be a lot easier. So we'll just cut it back some, point it more this way into the throttle body. So I gotta admit, I'm not a fan of cutting up a brand new intake. The upper part of that thing is like $300 or something. But the reason I came to that conclusion is I had planned on changing the upper intake, or I thought about changing the upper intake to the traditional style that points out the front right here and just connecting it the way it was before. The problem with that is that upper intake manifold is on back order everywhere that you look for it, and it's another $300 or something like that. So thinking ahead, the winter plans, the winter upgrade for the car is going to be a new turbo kit. Pause. Okay, so with a new turbo kit, it's going to be completely different. And when I say completely different, I think that I'm going to mount the turbo in the front of the car directly behind the radiator crossways and make the cold pipe just really short where it goes right into the throttle body using that other style intake with the front facing inlet. So that's going to be new headers, new crossover pipe, new everything, and just knock it all out at one time. So what I mean by that is the turbo is going to sit right here. The cold pipe is going to go straight into the throttle body, and down pipe probably out and exiting over here somewhere, you know, whatever. So this rendition at this point is just a hurry up and get it done kind of thing, so we can make some passes for the rest of the season and you know, see how things go. So now we've got all that out of the way, let's get started on doing the work on the intake. And again, I'm not looking forward to doing this, but in this case, it's the only alternative that I can see. So I guess if there ever was a silver lining to this, when I cut this thing off, if it should happen to be screwed up, well, I can always weld it back together. Since it's aluminum, pretty much cut it into pieces and just weld it right back together. But nonetheless, I'm not excited about this part. Okay, so we got the intake manifold cut up, and I was just telling Ryan and another buddy of mine that it kind of hurts a little bit to cut up your $700 and whatever intake manifold and make it fit, but hey, that's what hot rods are all about, right? So I'll turn the camera around so you can get a look at the upper intake to see what we had to do to it. And preliminary tests show that it is actually going to work. So check this out. All right, so there's the original piece. There's the part of the throttle body flange that was still attached that we cut off of there. So we're gonna put it back on the car like that. And it looks like I'm probably gonna have to cut another ½ inch or so off this top edge so the flange will tilt just a little further back. All right, so there it is on the car. To get all the crumbs and stuff off of it before I get it over there by the motor. So that piece is going to go on there like that, but you can see that the coils are still pretty close to it. So I take the throttle body and hold it up there by itself, and it has to have the flattest part of the throttle body facing down, but it's pretty close like it sits. So I think, like I said, cutting it back another ½ inch, 3/8 of an inch or so will probably fix that. Tilt it up a little bit like this, and we'll be cooking with grease. Okay, so that's cooler than the other side of the pillow, I think. That's actually going to work right there. The V-band clamp is going to clear. This is going to be a little bit of a challenge to get this bend in here, but other than that, I think we'll be okay. That might actually be a real challenge. We'll have to see how it goes, I guess. I guess the next step is to get this thing off of there and weld it up completely, and then let's see how it goes from there. Alright, so we got it all welded up and everything looks good. It's all welded all the way around. Blah, blah, blah. So the next thing is, I guess we're going to start trying to fit this pipe right here where it goes down to this guy. And this one will get cut back right here and turned over this way. So that's going to be the next step. Alright, so I'm about to show you guys, there's been a very slight change in plans, possibly a big change in plans, or at least a mediocre change in plans. So my initial thought of putting the throttle body on the intake after I moved the flange might have worked, but it would have been really, really, really ugly. And the way that I actually did it is just kind of ugly. So, I got it all tacked together. I'm going to turn the camera around so you can get a look at it and explain what's going on. Alright, so what you're looking at, it's similar to how it was before, other than the cold pipe, instead of going up here, went over here and went in the front of the intake. But now, since I got this handy dandy pain in my ass side entry intake, this is what I had to do. So, as you can see, I remote mounted the throttle body, and these pieces right here are left over from the blue car. And for those of you, the OG members will remember the blue car. So I had some of these left over because I made more than one. And same for that piece up there. So remote mount throttle body, yeah. I'm not overly excited about it, but it will work, and it's going to work fine. Just not exactly what I had wanted. So as far as the mechanical aspect of everything goes, that just needs to be welded up, and it'll be ready to be put on the car for the last time. Unfortunately, the coils did not get to be moved because there's just no place for them under the car, not with the split exhaust on it and all that stuff. So in the winter, the off time, I think the turbo kit is going to get changed and maybe you can see what I'm pointing at here, but the turbo is going to go crossways and the compressor is going to point straight into the intake, and I'm going to change it to one of the LS style intakes where the entry is in the front of the intake. I didn't do that to begin with because I didn't think it was going to clear the hood, and I bought this one because I did think it was going to clear the hood. So Holly, if you guys are listening, your upper intake for the Ford high ram sucks. I don't know what you planned on that thing fitting, but it barely fits tall valve covers on a small block Ford. And if you should happen to have coils sitting there, no dice ain't gonna happen. So think about that. Anyways, that's it. All right, guys, so enough of the rambling. That is the end of the video. We are 99.73% finished with the mechanical aspect of everything, and then it's going to be time to get into the wiring. And I know I've said that at least 40 some odd times, but this time I'm for real. So thanks everybody for stopping by and enduring this painful process with me yet again. If you have not, please do subscribe. That's the big thing. Subscribe, hit the notification icon. Give it a thumbs up. We'll see you in the next video. Also, be sure to check the description for all the Amazon links for all the doodads that I use here on the channel, and the link to the Instagram page. Outside of that, see you in the next video. Thanks, guys.